Manchester United have finalised their deal with Real Madrid for Raphael Varane. But what is next for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the Red Devils? Could Saul Niguez be pipped away from Liverpool Football Club, who have had rumours circulate this afternoon that no more major signings are coming into Anfield this summer? We're going to delve into that in much more detail, take your calls, gauge your opinions as well. We're also going to touch on Lukaku. A lot of talk about Lukaku being a big feature in Chelsea's plans early on in the summer. Big update coming out of Italy to report on as well. All that and much, much more. Varane, done, signed, sealed, delivered. He will be a Manchester United player. What's next for United? This is the Done Deal Show. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Here we go. Hello and good afternoon. Welcome back to the Terrace. I do hope you're having wonderful days. If you're a Manchester United fan, you're very likely to be having a wonderful day as it stands right now. Varane, of course, over the line. Done deal complete. Now, we're going to be having a big show tonight at 9 o'clock. The panel are going to be here with me. We're going to delve more into the Varane deal, what it means for United. We're also going to be debating the best generational talents alive and well in the game right now. We're also going to be touching on the Manchester City situation as well. That's all coming up at 9 o'clock tonight. The panel are going to be here. But now's about you coming on and having your say. Lots of interesting and breaking news. Lots of interesting and breaking news this afternoon in relation to transfers. Namely, I've just had this come through to me. So someone copied me into a tweet, and that's why I was a little bit late. Plus, we were working on a really big deal for the Football Terrace as well. But Kyle Markham here. Kyle Markham, he's a journalist here. Kyle Markham, verified journalist, covers Liverpool and Everton, has stated that it's unlikely there'll be any further additions to Liverpool's squad following the £36 million arrival of centre-back Ibrahima Konate from RB Leipzig. These are the comments from him. Breaking news this afternoon that this has come out. So Liverpool fans, I need to gauge your views and your opinions on this. No more signings at Liverpool. No more signings are expected at Liverpool Football Club this summer, according here to Carl Markham. It's been very, very quiet. A lot of Liverpool fans have been saying that, trust the process, trust what's going on. It's all going to be okay. Legitimately, this is no salt. How are you feeling about this news? We need to hear from you on the Football Terrace. I'm going to share the link very, very soon for you to come on and for you to have your say. That is, it doesn't sound great. Is this PR? What do you think this is, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear this kind of news? For me, I would be worried right now. Legitimately, I would be worried right now if I was a Liverpool fan. But I want your views and I want your opinions on this news. So I've just got to share it now because this is brand new news that's come to me just before we've gone live. I want your views and your opinions. We have got a poll running right now as well. That's talking very much about the Manchester United. Who do you think our next signing is going to be? 34% currently think Trippier. 29% think Neves. And 28% think Saul Niguez. Only 14% CAMAVINga. But we want to hear from all of you on that. Thank you for that super chat there from the Devil's Advocate, who says Champions League Varane, and that's it. He is a Manchester United player, no doubt. Comment here, buzzing for my club right now. Kudos to Myrtle and Fletcher. United are finally acting like a big club, as we should. That is from my guy, Dwayne Anderson, in the house this afternoon, having his say. Right now. I do need to update the title of this video as well due to this breaking news. So please bear with me as I do this here. 1 second. No More signings. Liverpool. I'm going to put a question mark on it because we have to. We don't know if that's true, but we're going to get an update on that. We'll see what comes out. We're going to share the link now in the live comment section. We're going to pin that comment section up for you as well. Sorry, I got caught on the hop a little bit with this news. I was literally about to press live, and then this news came out, and I was like, Jesus, I've got to cover this now. I can't be letting the terrace community down by not covering this. I'm going to go to some of your comments in a few moments' time to cover and delve into that there. But thank you, Dwayne, for that. Broke Paul is what's being said here by Naz. Liverpool, no more. Lol, in the mud. Terry, why is Lukaku being dragged to Chelsea again? I don't think he will come back. We'll touch on that a little bit later, the Lukaku news, and delve into what's being said and what's coming out of Italy at this moment in time. Georgie says, yes, Tielemans 100% staying. Well, according to Mark, this is the case. I want to know. I want to know what he's saying. I want to know what people believe. We know Liverpool fans on social media are going to play this down. They're not going to panic. They're going to very much trust the process, as it were. But I want your views and I want your opinions when it comes to this. I truly, truly do, because your opinions matter more to me. Let's keep having a look here. The journalist that do Liverpool say that last year before Liverpool signed Jota and Thiago. This is also true. So you may just believe that this is part of the process. Play everything down, act like nothing's happening, etc. Lukaku is not going to Chelsea. He is staying in Italy. He's got the Undertaker says here. I totally agree. I totally agree with that, especially based on some of the news that has come out in the last few in the last few hours as well. So we're talking Liverpool tonight. We're talking Man United. What comes next for them in this transfer market? Is it Saul Niguez? And the Saul Niguez one's an interesting one to me that I wanted to delve into, because Manchester United have been linked with Saul Niguez for many, many years. For me, he's always been a Manchester United player in terms of his overarching quality. Reports coming out of Spain in the last 24 to 48 hours have suggested that a deal could be done for around £45 million to bring him to Old Trafford. Atletico Madrid are fairly desperate to get rid of him. They need to get rid of his salary. They've purchased players that can play in his position, but they very much need they very much need to get that done. Have I misspelled signings? Sorry, I have. I need to put an N in. There we go. I've updated the title now. It's going to say signings there. Cheers, Slens. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that, my guy. Thank you. So it's reported that Man United are in for him. Now, what I've been told, I spoke to a number of journalists over the last few days, is that Manchester United are exploring the possibility of bringing Saul Niguez into the club. They're also talking to and looking at Ruben Neves. We know this. Camavinga is also an outside option as well. United don't think they can pull off Camavinga this summer, purely based on the fact that he has his heart set at either staying in France, and PSG is said to be coming in for him fairly soon, or he might wait it out for another year and move to Real Madrid or Barcelona. They are his dream moves in front of Manchester United. So, of course, United are not going to be stupid and chase this kid for weeks and weeks and weeks, only for him to say no in the end. There's no mileage in that, and United are trying to get away from groundless work. So Ruben Neves is definitely an option. Saul Niguez is another. The Paul Pogba situation is what holds things up for Manchester United. But the great news is Saul Niguez to Barcelona looks very much in trouble at this particular moment in time. Barca have not pushed forward with it at all. They don't really have the finances to get it done. There's a lot of troubles and problems there. So half put Niguez off a little bit as well. Liverpool haven't acted, and maybe coupling this back into the news we've just read out, Liverpool haven't acted. They had more contact at the back end of last week with Saul Niguez's representation, saying they are still interested. They're just weighing up a few options their end. Of course, who's going to leave, who's going to come in, etc. If you believe that the report from Carl Markham this afternoon, they're not buying anybody. They haven't acted as of yet. This is leaving the door open for Manchester United to come in. But of course, United need to know what's happening, first of all, with Paul Pogba. And United at this point now do need to start looking at players leaving. Phil Jones is said to be leaving on a 3. They're trying to find a suitor potentially for Nemanja Matic also. If Nemanja Matic is able to leave, along with some of the fringe players that are linked with moves away, I think if you look at ESPN reporter Mark, I want to say Ogden, is his name. I may have got that slightly wrong. He listed a number of players that are available this year. And you sort of look at that list of players there: Williams, Lingard, Delot, Telles, Pereira, Dan James. I've also heard that Matic may go as well. They're all available, but it depends who else is coming in. So it's very unlikely that Williams and Alex Telles will both be allowed to leave if a Kieran Trippier isn't signed. One of the two will be able to go. Phil Jones can go regardless. Of course, Anthony Martial, Dan James. What happens with Martial? Does Martial demand the move, push for a move? Then coupled up with Rashford being injured, Dan James is likely to stay. Martial wants to stay and fight for his position. It's more likely Dan James will go to free up that space within the squad. United are looking at midfield options, but they have to get players out of the door. One of the biggest targets of the club was to get rid of its bloated wage structure, which is very, very important. They also don't want... They still have the kind of burning embers at the club last year from the poor legacy before them. The likes of Romero having to stay because they couldn't find the right kind of options for him. And that leading to a little bit of disharmony, not towards the management, but towards the running of the football club. So they have to get some players off the book, Man United, before they're able to maybe purchase this midfielder. But the level of money we're talking, it's not just the £45 million up front. Remember, the transfer fees and war chests and budgets are not how the media explain them to us. It's about turnover. United don't want to commit to a Saul Niguez at 45 million plus over 230, 240,000 pound a week in salary without ensuring there are players going out in the other direction. But if Lingard, for instance, Delot, Jones, Pereira, and Matic were all to get suitors in the next few weeks, it's highly likely Man United are going to move into that midfield area. United are looking at central midfielders to come to the football club. There is no doubt about it. But they are just being diligent. They're being meticulous in their approach. And they're preparing properly. You know, the 5 Ps, poor preparation produces poor performance. They're ensuring that doesn't happen. They're getting their ducks in a row. They don't want a bloated squad. They don't want to keep hemorrhaging money. Hemorrhaging money is is an area that's led to the level of poor quality over the years at Man United. Because when you hemorrhage money, there comes a point where you run out. So we're getting all that ducks in a row. It looks very promising right now. Saul Niguez, would he join Man United? Yes. Ruben Neves, would he join Man United? Yes. They're both big targets United are looking at. It's exciting times ahead. It depends what journalists I speak to. Like Dean Jones and Pete both have different opinions on the midfield area. Pete O'Rourke doesn't think United are signing anyone in midfield unless Pogba leaves. Dean Jones' stance is a little bit different. He thinks work can be done in that area. Kieran Trippier is 100% an option to come into the club next. 100% an option to come into the club next. The club are just working on that deal with Atletico Madrid. They're still looking for replacements, so there hasn't been much movement. But we'll go through that more with Dean Jones tomorrow morning on the Done Deal show. Super chat here from Monster says, after Shaqiri sell 40 million to buy a player. And maybe that's the case. Maybe that is the case, my guy. So I want to ask you this question, Monster, because you're a real good guy, legitimately a good guy. Do you think more signings are going to come in? Terry, no excuses for LFC to buy someone after Shaqiri sell. 4 players gone, £40 million in at least. That should be enough to get a decent midfielder. Wake up, Liverpool Football Club. And that's what I want to go back to. The link's there for you to call in. A lot of you have phoned in and had your say so far today. Are ready to have your say. We want to hear from you on this. If you want to speak about Varane, please phone up. If you want to speak about this news about Liverpool signing no players, please phone up. If you want to speak about who Man United have got to buy in midfield, please phone up. Before we do the calls, the Lukaku news is important to jump into. So this, for about the 4th or 5th time this summer, Inter Milan or Lukaku have reiterated again that he is not for sale and not leaving. There are still some that believe that may not be 100% true, that there may be a way of getting him, but it does appear more and more like that deal isn't going to go forward. That, to me, puts a lot of pressure on Chelsea Football Club. A lot of pressure on Chelsea Football Club to bring in a prolific number 9. Tammy Abraham is 60% out the door. Arsenal are going to make a bid for him. West Ham are going to make a bid for him, and the player wants to leave. Chelsea Football Club have a fantastic record of not keeping unhappy players at their football club. This is a cast iron fact. What's going to happen in that number 9 role? Now, I saw something yesterday that none of the tier 1 transfer experts or Chelsea tier 1s have made any comment, positive or negative, about this proposed 130 plus £20 million bid. And my view is very, very simple. They're only going to mention this bid if it does or doesn't happen. And what I mean by that is, if Chelsea tomorrow officially decide they're not going to make the bid, the tier ones will say there was never going to be a bid. They knew it couldn't be done. They're working on other deals. There was never going to be a bid. If Chelsea are confident, say 90% plus they can land the deal, you will see the tier one say a bid, a bid in some way, shape or form tell us a bid is coming or a bid has happened. They are not going to speculate and talk about a potential bid that may or may not happen at this moment in time. The tier ones do not do that anymore. They do not do that anymore. They're going to hold back. It's win-win for them because they haven't gone on record to say that they're working on a bid. So why hasn't Matt Law said something? Why hasn't Fabrizio said something? Why hasn't Jan said something? They're all waiting. They're all waiting to see whether Chelsea are going to 100% trigger it. As I said 3 weeks ago, they're working on this deal. Roman has reportedly given it the green light. But there's still areas for them to be careful about. The long-term ramifications of a legacy signing such as this. Reports yesterday from CFC News that they've already submitted, or they're going to very close to submitting the 130 bid. I think when that bid, if and when that bid becomes imminent, you'll see a tier one report on it. But do you know what? If there was no truth in it, they'd shut it down, wouldn't they? If there was zero truth in there being a bid prepared, why would the tier ones allow the Chelsea fan base to get strung along? That's my view right now. All the tier ones have kind of come together Avengers style and just say, not true, not heard a thing. So I think there's definitely some truth in this. I think there's definitely the workings going on behind the scenes, but they're going to protect Chelsea. They're going to protect Chelsea at all costs, and I understand why. And some Chelsea fans love that, because if that bid gets turned down at an informal level, it will get denied as ever happening. That's the cold, hard facts of the matter for me. So the Lukaku situation is very, very interesting indeed. It looks as though that's completely and utterly dead at this moment in time. We will get Dean Jones to update us on that tomorrow when he's on the Done Deal show to give us his thoughts. And there's some of the deals that I've asked him to go away and do some research into. This is what Dean and Pete do is we speak about it a day or so before, and they'll go out and speak to agents, they'll speak to clubs, they'll speak to representatives, they'll speak to scouts and other journalists to source this information to keep you as up to date as possible. Now, we're going to start going to your calls now, but do me a favor here. We're speaking Liverpool. And the report this afternoon that they are going to be signing no more players this summer. This isn't created by the football. This isn't my news. I've shared the link. Carl Markham has said it's unlikely any further additions are going to arrive. I want your thoughts. I want your feelings on this. Phone in now. The link is in the live comment section. Smash that like button, people. First caller of the day that we're going to go to is going to be, we're going to go to Mohamed Amar, who is a Liverpool fan, long-time member, super chatter, and contributor of the Football Terrace. Welcome to the show. Give me your thoughts on this Liverpool news, my friend.
Hello, Terry. Yeah, it's very worrying, this news saying we're not going to sign anyone. They said that we needed to sell players before buying. Now, this thing of having not to buy anyone is very worrying, especially going forward in the title race when you see all the other big teams like Man United, Chelsea, and City all looking to strengthen their squad. And I'm very scared because we could be left behind if we don't sign at least one or two extra players come the end of the summer transfer window.
Yeah, I mean, what's your take on this? Do you think this is PR, or do you think this is very much a case of Liverpool getting the planting the seed now, as to say, listen, it's all we're going to sign, and if they don't sign anybody else, what do you think the reaction from Liverpool fans is going to be?
So what I think is that if this doesn't happen, there'll be amongst Liverpool fans, there'll be huge uproars around Anfield, all these protesting, wanting to get FSG out. And if that does happen, you'll see these things happen. But I think these Liverpool protesting and uproar will be consistent. I don't think it will be for a couple of weeks. We might because when Liverpool fans do protest against FSG, it does seem to work. For example, against Sunderland, I think it was in the 2016 season when we they've raised the ticket prices up. The Liverpool fans left like 10 minutes before the game, towards the end of the game, and they changed their mind on that. So I think if we do protest, FSG will change their minds about what to do in the transfer window, hopefully.
Yeah, listen, and maybe they will do, bro. Maybe they will do. Mohammed, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. I really appreciate that. Top man.
Thank you for having me on, as always.
No worries. If you do me a favor, everyone who's in the, some of you I know, like Donny, James, and Pav, that are backstage, can you mark for me what club you support? It makes me a little bit easier to pick the order of who I'm going to put on. But next on the show, I'm going to go to Jamie. Jamie Mason's with us now. Who do you support, bro?
I support Bayern Munich, mate. I rung your show earlier.
Yeah, you did. What you here to say, my friend?
Oh, I'm just here just to talk about Liverpool, really. You know, I'm just kind of a bit surprised, really, that they're not really making any moves in the transfer window. I mean, it's like you said, like before, Terry, last season, about like, you know, like lack of hunger, desire from the players, because there's just no like challenging for places, really. You know, barring Konate, who again is a big risk, because you know I've seen him play against you know, like us, you know, before in the Bundesliga against Bayern, and oh man, he's a good player on his day. He's just constantly injured all the time. So they're not only they've got like an injury prone player, but like, you know, they're trying to sell players which are on high wages, like Shaqiri and that, which I believe they will sell him, but you know, even then, just the stubbornness from FSG, man. This is why Liverpool will never compete at the highest level, like your Man Uniteds, like your Cities, like your Chelseas, in terms of big money, unless FSG, I can't even speak today, unless FSG, spend the money, you know what I mean? And it's just sad, really.
Well, I mean, yeah, look, they're always going to fall away if they don't continue to spend. There's no doubt about it, mate. Listen, buddy, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Thank you very, very much indeed. Next on the show, we're going to go to Sharim. Sharim is a member of the Terrace and a Liverpool fan. Give me your thoughts on this news. The FSG may not be spending anymore. Do you believe it? Do you think he's being a mouthpiece? What's your thoughts, mate? You're on mute, by the way, if you're trying to speak.
Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry, panicking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, bro. Give me your thoughts.
I can't hear you. I'll try again after. Sorry.
Okay, all right, come back in, mate.
Don't know why I can't hear you.
Okay, try calling back in. Next, we're going to go to Pav. Pav's a Man United fan. What are you here to say, mate?
We finally got him. Jesus. Do you know what? I was sleeping, right? Yeah, I didn't even know this whole here we go, your videos, nothing. I woke up about an hour ago. I had to go for a little tinkle. I looked at my phone and all I see was all these notifications, your video popping up on the notification. I was like, surely not. There's no fucking way we've done it. And then, yeah, I've just been up. I was supposed to be sleeping till around 7, and now I'm just up, man. I'm going to be fucked at work tonight. But, mate, I can't believe it, how it's been done so fast, because for the last few days, it was like all these mixed reports about how it's slowing down, and you had journalists saying one thing, other people saying one thing, but you kept your stance on it that people shouldn't worry. Obviously, there's people just panicking for no reason, and credit to you and obviously your sources and your journalists who come on the show. They've all said like it's not a matter of if, it's when. So yeah, mate, honestly, it's just a signing that I can't believe how we've done it, because like I said I know that Fergie wanted to try buy him when he was a youngster, but he went to Madrid, and ever since he's just turned into this world-class player. And I could never believe that we would ever pull a deal like Varane off. Like, can you imagine 2 world-class centre-backs at Man United at the same time since Vidic and Rio? Like, how many years did we watch Smalling and Phil Jones? And now we've been given some reward for watching that. And yeah, like, look how many world-class centre-backs there are in this league now. You got your Maguire, your Van Dijk, the guy from City, I forgot his name. But yeah, now we got Varane in the league. People, I see the propaganda on social media already against Varane. So like when he was at Real Madrid, he's this world-class player. Now he's come to the Premier League. Oh, he's just a pace merchant and whatnot. Like, rivals, man. that salt, Jesus, save it for your dinner, man. Like, come on, don't be jealous. Like, show some credit. And Murto and Fletcher, Jesus, I had my reservations about them too. But how quick we've pulled some of these deals off, and how we've gone about our business, showing respect to other clubs, because we know Edward Wood and the other geezer, they're kind of a failure when it comes to transfers. But honestly, I have to give my hats off to Murto and Fletcher. Like, I'm so happy, Terry. You can't imagine like how happy I am. It's just like I've never had this feeling, bro. Like we're actually doing bits. Now I just want to see bits done on the pitch. Like,
yeah, of course. I mean, I agree with you completely about the Myrtle and Fletcher thing, and there's some articles that have come out in the last few days, some really good articles, just talking about the subtle differences in the way they've gone about business, the way they speak to people. This Real Madrid deal was an example. A standout piece of information was over the course of last week. Things were done quite early last week, but Madrid wanted a little bit of time before it was finalized and announced to basically decide on what they wanted to do as a football club. Do we want to replace Varane now with another centre-back? Do we want to put the money towards an Mbappe deal next year? Do we want to reinvest in another part of the pitch? And they asked United for some time, and it was, yep, fine, no problem. We're relaxed our end. Of course, United would have loved to have Varane in a week ago, but we had our own things to deal with last week. We were getting Sancho announced. We were finalising a deal for Ollie. And that's why when I was told 10 days ago it's going to be an interesting 10 days, it was pretty much because the deal for Varane was done. We'd already started to move on to other deals, midfield areas, looking deeper at the Kieran Trippier move and everything else. The diligence and the speed, but the meticulous nature of the way we've gone about these deals is what top clubs do. I'm not putting Man United back into a top club bracket because of one summer, but it's a great foundation to grow from, and it's brilliant to see. I wanted to get your thoughts quickly on this news about Liverpool reportedly not buying anybody else. Do you think this is true, or do you think they're sort of playing things down and they're going to do a bit of a Jota and Thiago later on down the line in the window?
Yeah, it's the same situation as last year, because if I'm wrong, correct me, but didn't last year, like, there was enough clubs making signings, but Liverpool were kind of quiet for a very long time. And then he just saw a few signings, and they bought that left back, and then Jota come, and then Thiago come. Maybe they're just probably biding their time. It was, I think last year they said they didn't have the money, and then suddenly they come up with the money. I don't know what the issues are in that club. Do they have to wait for their funding to come through? I don't know what's what, but if they don't sign anyone, I think it's a bit of a disgrace. A club like Liverpool, like, look, they're rivals. I don't want them to buy anyone. I would love to them just go in the same squad with them same injury-prone players they have. But Liverpool fans, they kind of deserve to see the best at their club. Yeah, I don't buy it. I think they'll go buy players. It'll be more like another week or so, you'll see one come through, two come through, and then a third. But I don't think Liverpool fans should overreact too much. Like, calm down. Wait until maybe next week. And if nothing happens next week, some point, then I'd worry a bit, because there's 2.5 weeks of the season to start. You kind of want to get your players in. And if you're looking at certain players from Spain, I heard that you have to quarantine as well. So us getting Varane today, he comes in, quarantines for 10 days. He's still got a week and a half to train with Man United and be ready for the season. So, yeah.
I think what you said there about Liverpool, I'm not buying it. I'm a bit like you. I'm not buying it 100%. I want it to be true as a Man United fan, but I'm not buying that it's true. The reason I can't buy into it is this. They've made inroads into the 100% fact. They've made inroads into the Saul Niguez deal. They've made inroads into Basuma. They've made inroads into Yuri Tillemans. They've made inroads into Bowen. They've made inroads into Rafinha. They've made all these inquiries. Man City are highly likely to sign a player or two this summer. Chelsea have got a brilliant squad. United have just gone and signed two of the best players in their positions in the world. You've got Spurs that are doing some bits right now. Arsenal are improving. There is no way FSG, in my opinion, are stupid enough and disrespectful enough to Liverpool Football Club to just say, there you go, Klopp. Go into the season with a week or when I say a weaker squad, like a squad a year older with no real rejuvenation. I get Van Dijk's coming back and I get Konate is coming in. But outside of that, what else is there? They're literally, they cannot, there's no way that FSG are stupid enough they're just not that dumb. They're not,
exactly.
and they're not that disrespectful. But I'm interested to know why that's being said. Maybe it's to like make it a bigger announcement when it comes through, but we will see. Pav, great call, and thank you for all your support, mate. Thank you very, very much.
Man.
Top man. I want to say to a lot of people gave me a lot of praise today on socials about this Varane deal. And let me just say, it's all down to Snack Media. Snack Media, what I love about working with them is keeping the independent nature of the football terrace is key and core to what we're doing. We've got a number of massive opportunities in the pipeline that we're very, very close to closing on. And the reason I'm excited about them is because what it means for the viewers, what it means for the fans, what it means for the people that interact with us here at the Football Terrace. You, the supporters, you, the people, are the most important element, and you always will be. It's not about somebody becoming a star YouTuber. It's not about somebody's Instagram followers. It's about you all. The reason that I wanted to, one area of the terrace I wanted to move more into is transfers, up-to-date information, building these relationships with the right people, is to get you the most accurate information that we possibly can. It isn't about anything other than that. And thank you to everyone that's been very kind to me today on social media. I don't know everything about all deals. I never have done. There's a handful. And when you see the new work we're doing over the next 6 months, when you see who we're working with and why, then you're going to start to understand who the sources were and who the people were, who the agents were. And it should all come to light a little bit more. And just want to thank people for the support they've given me in the last week or so. It's very, very, very important indeed. Next caller, we're going to go back to Sarim. Sarim, is a Liverpool fan. Welcome back, mate. What do you want to say? Oh, I didn't click on Sarim. I clicked on Mansour Ahmed instead because somebody dropped out. I clicked on the wrong one. We'll go to Sarim in a minute. Mansour, go.
I was ready for this. Okay. Sorry, Terry. Yeah. So the Liverpool deal. You know my feelings on it, Terry. It's been. I know what people are trying to say. Don't be reactionary, but you gotta understand we've had a bad season last season. I mean, I'm sure, like you said, FSG are not stupid. They're not dumb. I hope they're not dumb, because we've had a bad season last season. It's not just because of defensive injuries. It's because our attack's been stale last season as well. We've left a midfield hole gap in Gini Wijnaldum, and it's just a lack of activity, Terry. And it's like the model that FSG says we sell players, we buy players. Well, now you got 40, or at least 40 million coming in. I expected a decent midfielder to come in. To fill in that Gini Wijnaldum role. Because right now, Gini Wijnaldum was an integral part to our team in the last 4 years. He's been this cog in our team that let the midfield function properly so the attack can have a free-minded. That's missing now. And we can't, if FSG say that they're going to spend next season on the transfer, that's a load of rubbish. Like, in terms of rubbish from them, that they should be looking at next season instead of this season. Klopp's not going to stay after 2024. He's going to leave in 2024 with the way things are going. And I just feel frustrated as a Liverpool fan. That's my honest opinion. And they've got to sort the stuff out.
I do get the frustration. Do you think your club's stupid enough to not buy anyone?
Well, they did go into the European Super League thinking that the fans would accept it, so I wouldn't put it past them. But no, the businessmen. I mean, businessmen, to build a business, you have to have a brain. And surely they see everything going around. They see the likes of United strengthening, Chelsea's about to strengthen, Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal finishing the 8th, but still strengthening. To become a good team, you have to strengthen. So surely they've got the mind and the brain capacity to say we need to strengthen as well. I'm not saying spend 80, 90 million. We just need to fill in those holes that's been left vacated, like Gini Wijnaldum. And that's all we're asking as a fan and fans. Like I said, 40 million's coming in. I expect that to be spent and not spent on anything else. And we don't want to be falling behind. I don't want to be this seesaw. 2 years great, 4 years we're building. I don't want that, Terry. I just don't want that.
And I totally understand that, mate. Monsieur, top man, thank you for calling the show and having your say. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sarim's coming on next. Before that, super chat here from Dinesh. Afternoon, Terry. Liverpool fans should not worry. Remember, we bought Ellison out of the blue. We bought Fabinho and Jota last season. There's still room to be positive there. On Manchester United's behaviour, though, I've just retweeted it. This is from Adam Matic, of course, part of the Football Terrace. He'll be back next season with all of you. He says here, Man United are actually getting players in before getting rid of other players that need to go. Dare I say it, big club mentality. Will Varane and Sancho signings make Pogba think twice? The element there on selling, buying before we sell is important. It's very, very important indeed. It's showing people that we're serious and you're not dragging deals on. You're not frustrating people. You're moving in the right way. And these are all the changes that Ollie, Myrtle, and Fletcher have been campaigning to have change at the football club. It's the beginning, potentially, of a new era under the Glazers. I don't want the Glazers here. I want the Glazers moved on. And this is one thing rival fans can't understand. Oh, suddenly you love the Glazers. No. But I can't really get rid of them. If I can't get rid of them, I want them to at least run the club to the best of their abilities. We've spent enough money in the last 8 years to be European and Premier League champions twice. But we've wasted it. Bad processes, bad purchases, bad culture, player power, poor appointments, no continuity. These things matter. Any football fan that played down the quality of the running of the club, these people's opinions are worth nothing. Like I've said, if you can show me a top-level sports club that is run poorly, that consistently wins, I'll give you $5,000 cash. Neil O'Callaghan here says, I'm not worried. FSG will bring in 2 players that will improve the squad. They have also invested heavily in the stadium and training ground, both not cheap. Relax, Liverpool fans. We will do well, is what Neil O'Callaghan has got to say. Sarim's on the show next to have his say. Sarim, do you agree with Neil, or are you worried about these actions from FSG?
I disagree with them wholeheartedly. Just to let you know, there's this thing called credit. So if you're spending your own money on investing in stadium expansion and training ground, I'm sorry, mate, you're probably a 2-year-old at best. I've been having this argument with all my mates about when they tell me, oh, we've got no money because we're spending expansions and training grounds. It's a load of nonsense. They've got credit. They're not idiots. They've taken credit out to do all of this, and they're going to pay it off in a few years' time. The reason why they're not paying, the reason why they're not buying, I think just it's not serious anymore. And that's the most frustrating thing. And I think, was it a tweet that you just spoke about a minute ago of United buying players first and then selling all the deadwood?
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. And that's my biggest problem. Like, you can say, oh, we're going to sign in a couple of weeks, but in a couple of weeks, the Premier League starts. So you're going to have players that need bedding in. And we know that takes time. So by the time they've all bedded in, you're halfway through a season and God knows where you are. And you don't know what you're going to do, are you? Like, are you trying to compete for the title? Are you trying to be a top 4 club? Like, you know, if you're going to compete for the title, you get your job done first and then worry about all the deadwood after.
I totally understand. And I agree with you on the point of they haven't taken, as far as I'm aware, and if someone can educate us on this, then please feel free to. I don't think they've taken millions of pounds out of Liverpool Football Club's bank accounts and turnover to build the stadium and the training ground. And even if they had, even if they borrow, that very rarely happens. Most businesses that I've ever come across in my life borrow money to expand, to build, to do extensions. And in football clubs terms, you build a new stadium, you might borrow the money at 0.5 over base, and it might cost you a little bit of money, but then you sell the naming rights, which covers the cost anyway.
Exactly.
That's what we do now. So yeah, I think some people are looking for some excuses for Liverpool Football Club. That doesn't necessarily mean I think they won't sign somebody, but why do you think that it's just becoming a bit much now, this cloak and dagger with the way they try and keep everything so quiet at the club? And do you think some Liverpool fans are towing the party line by protecting FSG, or do you think it's right to back the club, back the owners, because they have delivered you Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues in the past?
They've not delivered us that. That was the players and that was the management and the coaching staff. That wasn't the owners. The owners tried to put us through a Super League. The owners furloughed staff. The owners charged 70, 80 quid a ticket. They've done all these fuckeries in the past. There's no need to back them. Like, if we want to be honest, they are taking the piss here. And here's my biggest fear, right? Like, Jurgen Klopp is the greatest manager we've ever had in Premier League history. My biggest fear is that we're going to piss him about for the next 2 or 3 years, not back him properly, and then when he leaves, we're going to get a B-Tech manager, some Eddie Howe, Sean Dyche, whoever the fuck it's going to be, those kind of managers, and we're going to give him a shit ton of money to back him, and he's going to piss up the wall. That's my biggest fear, and that's the thing that's frustrating me the most. You have the greatest manager here in your history, in the Premier League era. Just back him. He's here for another 3 years. Once he's gone, you've laid good, solid foundations for the next guy, whoever it is, to take the club forward. And it can be, you know, maybe someone a bit less than Klopp, but at least the club will be in a far better position for him to take over than it was when Klopp took over. That's all I want. And that's not happening.
Sarim, this is a great call, mate. Thank you for all your support on the terrace, and we'll speak to you again soon. Top man. Thank you. Mr. Iqbal there giving us his thoughts. Yusuf here says, Terry, what worries me, I know it's only pre-season, but I watched the QPR and Derby games. We still play without any pattern or system. You can't freestyle to a title no matter who you sign. And you know what, Yusuf, if that's how you view the games, and I respect that, and I understand why as a Man United fan you have those concerns, my view is this: wait until we see the fruits of Ollie's labor this summer. Let's wait until we see the actual players in the 4-3-3. It's a bit of a mix. Sometimes you hear people say things like, oh, you know what? I've seen Klopp's like second string play and they play with the same level of intensity and the same level of quality. Well, they obviously don't, because those fringe players have fouled very early on in every single domestic cup competition that they've played in. It's about having quality player to deliver that system. So let's wait and see what the 4-3-3 looks like. Let's wait and see the sort of fruits of that labor. But I do get your concerns, my friend. I do understand it completely. We're going to get Neil O'Callaghan on in a moment. He's phoned up to have his say, which is brilliant to hear from him again. Before that, language of the slaves says, let's be honest, Liverpool had a major defensive crisis. Mane and Salah not performing at all. Klopp's mum died. No fans, which is a major adrenaline boost for the players. Liverpool don't need to sign anyone, is what language of the slaves has got to say here. Of course, if you're just tuning in, the reports are that Liverpool are going to sign no more players this summer. Language of the slaves here has said categorically they don't need anybody else. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Do you agree with language of the slaves? And in fact, that's inspired. We're going to put an end to the previous poll, which actually, Saul Niguez won with 30% of the vote. Thank you for everyone that voted on the current poll. We're going to put a new one out. We're going to put a new poll out now. And I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. I'm going to put it up in a few moments' time when it allows me to. But the question is going to be, do Liverpool actually need new players? Or do they have enough? I don't know why I didn't type, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to type it in again now. So, do Liverpool actually need new players, or do they have enough? There we go. Right. Yes or no question in there. So that's the new poll that's now going out. Thank you for that super chat. Inspired the new poll that's out. Next on the show, we're going to go to Neil O'Callaghan, one of our big super chatters on the channel. Welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say, buddy?
No worries. Thank you very much for having me on. I suppose I want to say, I do agree with your previous caller. I know he did say that he disagreed with what I said, and that's true. I never said that FSG didn't have money. I did say that they would bring on 2 players, and I fully believe that they will bring in 2 players. Well, they need to bring in 2 players minimum. And I do agree with his statement about FSG did make bad decisions in terms of following staff, raising the ticket prices, joining the Euros, Super League, whatever. But they've also kind of did what other managers or other owners of clubs have done or haven't done in the past, you know, when the fan base tends to kind of show a disagreement towards the decision. Owners tend to kind of say, no, we're going to stick to our guns, we're going to keep doing this. United being the biggest example of that, or Arsenal being the biggest example of that again. And when Liverpool fans tend to show their disapproval of a decision made by FSG, they tend to retract it. And I feel that, yes, we don't have the manager. we don't have the finances that, let's say, City and Chelsea would have. And I know a lot of Liverpool fans would like to have that. And I personally would love to have that type of ability to go out and spend 150 million on a player or whatever like that. And I know United have done a great job there now with signing Varane. They got in Sancho, who they've been looking at for almost a year. Well, last summer anyway, they failed to do it, but they did go back in again and they did it again. So well done on that. And I know that Liverpool fans feel that they're not keeping up with them, and I can see that, and I'm frustrated as a Liverpool fan as well. But I would just say to them, just keep the faith. We will get through it, and we do have a great manager in Jurgen Klopp. And I feel, yes, I think we don't have the squad yet to challenge for a league title. I still feel that we will get top 4, but we do. I feel like we won't fall behind the way that Liverpool fans, I believe, on social media would think that we will fall behind on other clubs. I don't know what do you believe on that, but that's my opinion.
We've still got a welcome. I kind of, with what language the slave said, I think you need to sign people to win the league.
Yeah.
Then you make the top 4 with this squad if you don't have any major injury problems. But if Konate gets injured, you know, no one knows how Virgil van Dijk's going to look when it comes to playing actual games. If your strikers are not back on point, it's one of those decisions. Last summer, I understood the decision from Liverpool Football Club, which was we're not going to go big in this after winning the league. We think we're good enough to win the Premier League again. And in the summer of 2021, we go big. That's kind of how they sold it to the masses. Where it must be becoming a little bit frustrating for Liverpool fans is it's sort of 3 or 4 windows running where they keep pushing the envelope or kicking the can down the road, saying, actually, we'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. So I understand that frustration where even with the Konate deal, you could have signed him for the same amount of money in the January window, but you went for Kabak and it was, Kabak's been a long-term target. He's who we want. And then you went and signed Konate anyway. I do get the frustration. So I think you can make the top 4 with this squad. I don't think you can win the league with this squad. And for some Liverpool fans, winning the Champions League and Premier League with in a record way, just challenging for top 4, I think just feels like you're stepping backwards. So I do get that frustration there, Neil. But buddy, I appreciate.
Well, just one other thing, just before I go. I know. Sorry, apologies. Now I will cut off eventually. I know that in terms of top 4, yes, Liverpool fans shouldn't be availing of that standard. That was Arsenal's standard for many years, and that's something that we shouldn't be striving for. And if Liverpool do show that, and that was their only ambition in years to come, then I will join them in their frustration and want FSG out. But at the moment, it's too early yet, and I'll leave it at that.
And I respect that. Listen, mate, thank you for all your support, mate, on the channel. It
No
really
worries.
means a lot. Top man.
No worries,
Take care,
cheers.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
top man. Thank you. Make sure that like button's being smashed, people. Just under 2,000 of you tuning in live. If you're not a subscriber of the Football Terrace, get that done. If you never want to miss another notification again, go into the link in our description below and you will see a link to our Telegram page, our group. We put all the notifications when we're going live into that group, so you never miss another show when it's live again. You won't get spammed. Put yourself on private when you go in there. No one will see your number. It's just so you don't miss any notifications when we go live. The growth of the terrace has been amazing. So it seems like the more subscribers we get, the less notifications YouTube sends out, which is rather weird. So get yourself signed up and into that group right away. We've got more calls to come. Before we do that, we want the super chat here says maybe after the signing of Varane and Sancho, hopefully Man United can win the Europa League against some mid to low table Spanish teams that nobody knows. Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Mike Keel here, I love that super chat. It's funny. Says Damasio tweeted Varane medical on Wednesday in Manchester. Well, if you're doing a medical in Manchester, does that mean he's not having to isolate? I don't know the rules. I really don't. If he's had the vaccine and he's an elite sportsman, does he have to isolate? Because there's like athletes get away with a lot of these things, don't they? They're not like the rest of us. But that's amazing news. If indeed he's having these, if he can train straight away, it means he's going to be fit and ready for the opening game against Leeds United. Jeez. I'm excited. I'm trying to be so neutral. I'm struggling. Next, remember tonight that we're live at 9 p.m. again on the Football Terrace tonight. Bit of a different show. We're going to be reviewing the Raphael Varane signing with the panel. talking about these cheating allegations against Man City, but we're also going to be tiering and ranking the best generational talents in the Premier League at the moment as well. The Sanchos, the Hudson-Odois, the Mason Mounts, the Brewsters, the Martinellis, the Sakas, Phil Fodens. I'm trying to think of a really good young player at Liverpool. The Trents. Like, we're going to do all of these things and get that done. Super chat here says, Terry, I don't think no one knows what Boris says. Yeah, I don't know what goes. In fairness, I've really stopped checking up on that kind of news. I really have. Right. Next caller. We're going to go to Ramel. Ramel ain't been on for a while. Liverpool fan, if I remember correctly. Welcome back to the show, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, long time no speak. What's your take on this news this afternoon that you're not going to sign anybody else? Are you buying that?
I don't know anymore. I'll be real. I try not to let football and Liverpool get to me as much as it used to, because when we'd lose a game or we'd hear bad news, it pissed me off for the whole day, weekend, etc. But yeah, I feel like this situation that we're in is likened to Tottenham's situation that they had with Pochettino, where they didn't sign players to replace players that didn't want to be there no more. And when they did sign players like Ndombele and the Salso, it became too late. It became too stale and toxic, if you get what I mean. I can't remember the brother's name who was on before, but I agree with him when he said Klopp's going to get frustrated and leave. I have that worry as well. You know, you saw at Dortmund when he left, not only was it a bad season, but he was also frustrated that his best players got sold, if you know what I mean. And rather than Jurgen Klopp come out and slag off the board and the owners or whatnot, he'll just leave. And I respect that as a man, you know what I'm saying? You know, respecting your employers to an extent. But you know, I try not to get annoyed by seeing United sign players or City sign players, because I'm usually comfortable within Liverpool's situation about signing Konate for 36 million, etc. Jota out the blue, you know. But it's getting a bit tedious now, and it's getting a bit jarring and annoying, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I'm a bit worried because, you know, if we don't sign anyone, it's just top four. And, you know, we waited so long to get a title and then get a Champions League. I don't want to go through that again. And as the previous caller said, I don't want to turn into Arsenal, because it's been funny to laugh at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them ones.
Well, do you know what's interesting about it, though? When it's your club, it's always more emotive. It's always a little bit more frustrating. But I've been saying this to people for a long. Football goes in cycles, and you can go from being the best to being one of the worst. You can go from being well run to having a couple of not being. You haven't gone from being a well run club to a badly run club in the space of a summer, in my opinion. But it's more along the lines of you're just not getting. You're going through a small period of bad decisions being made, but it's about turning them around quickly. And, you know, Liverpool Football Club, this time last year, you were floating on cloud 9. And it's loads of little things where if I take my Man United glasses off, you know, you never got the parade. You never really celebrated as a fan base winning the title because you couldn't put it in front of the fans. You know, by the time your fans came back, you weren't champions anymore. So I feel a bit sorry there. And also in that time period, the squad's got older. There haven't been the replenishments that are needed. It must feel like from when the last time Anfield was full of Liverpool supporters until the opening game of the season when they're back, the difference in emotions are going to be mad. But the only reason you'll notice,
you know what the problem is as well?
You get where I'm coming from? But it's very, very normal, I think, for these things to go on. Are you still there, mate? Or it seems to have frozen. Are you there? Ramel's frozen. Try calling back. And I just think that's what Liverpool are going for at the minute, is a little bit of a recycle process. The only thing I will say, what it doesn't appear Liverpool are willing to do is change their methodology. So I wouldn't panic in the medium to long term because it worked before. I think they're going to sign 30 to 40 million pounds value players and try and develop a great team again. We're going to go to Ziad soon to have you say. Before that, my brother's here. Ram is in the house. I've got a few super chats to do before that. LFC don't rush for just bodies. If they have to wait for their target, they will. LFC model will not change. The club is profitable. And I think that's the point I was pulling on. It's just a slower process than, say, a Chelsea or a Manchester City, which I think Liverpool fans have just got to accept that that is how you are going to operate, and that is how you are going to do business today, tomorrow, next week, next year. It's the Liverpool way. Super chat here says, "Lol, keep the faith for these, keep falling for these reports, their opinions." Absolutely. And that's why we're asking fans, do you believe in these reports? And the reports, I would say, from journalists are based on conversations that they're having, based on their expert knowledge and everything along those lines. A lot of what you hear from Fabrizio's opinion. No need to worry. They still need to get rid of at least 2 more non-homegrown players to bring new players in. Relax, peeps, is what selection has got to say. Hold on says, you literally have the same squad that tore up the Champions League and league, except one player. Fans always panic. Klopp won't accept defeat, is what language of the slaves has said here. We're going to go to Ram next on the line. Ram, welcome back, mate. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, this news is a bit annoying to hear, but I'm not really going to listen to it. I really do think we're going to sign some players. It is just a case of when we are going to sign them. I really don't like signing players later on in the window. I like our players to come in at the very start and then blood them in with the rest of the squad. So if it does happen that we sign them at around about the 31st or 29th of August, then is not going to be helpful for the season, because they'll take about 2 or 3 months to settle in, and it won't be ideal. You look what happened with Fabinho. He took about 2 months to settle in, and he came up to be a top class player. And I don't think with the season that's gonna come around is not that we don't have that time. We don't. United starting to make moves. Man City are making moves. Chelsea are going to make moves. Even Arsenal's making moves, which is a bit annoying coming from a Liverpool fan that's not really doing much in this transfer window.
Yeah, I get that. There's a few people here saying things like, Terry thinks you need £80 million players to show you want to win. I didn't say that at all. I still think Liverpool can win again. I just think Liverpool do it in a slower way. So it's not about showing you want to win. Liverpool's model, though, is a slower burner, is what I would say. It's like a bit, it's like a nice wine. It sort of gets better with a bit of age. Your Liverpool's model isn't to go, right, we need a new goal scorer. Let's go and buy the best goal scorer in the world. Let's go and get Haaland. Let's go and get the best person right now. That just isn't your model. Your model is, who do you think is going to turn into the best guy in the world in 2 or 3 years' time that we can pick up for £30 million now? And that's fine. And I think fans then have the choice whether they want to accept that as being the model, or whether they want to protest against it or moan about it. And I think that everyone should have the right to do that.
Terry, in my opinion, right, I think we are in this moment where we can sort of spend about £40 million here and there and still challenge, because we've got the starting 11 to win a league title. That is for sure. Everyone fit. We have the squad. It's just continuously and consistently maintaining it, putting in around about 20, 30, 40, even £40 million on players. That's what needs to happen. And I don't understand why FSG, even though their model is sell to buy, why we can't just push the boat out a little bit and spend £30 million on this so-called net spend that we like to do. So it's a very weird one, because I feel if we do spend an extra 20, 30 million pounds, I think we can get a lot more money from tournament rewards and all that.
Did you say the dreaded words on my show?
I did do the quotation marks.
I had you off screen when I was listening, but I had it off screen. Look, the thing is, Liverpool obviously the buy to sell thing is an interesting one. There's an element of that. I understand clubs have lost money because of COVID, but players are cheaper than they were before COVID started. Jadon Sancho, just over 18 months ago, was £120 million valuation. He cost 50. I don't even think Man United. I don't know how much money Man United make in a year of match day revenue, but profitability wise, it's not £50 million. So the fact we saved £50 million on Sancho, in fact, we've picked up Raphael Varane and Sancho for less money than the original price that Borussia Dortmund quoted us for Sancho. So there's deals to be done. It's just what you're willing to spend as a club, and I think you definitely have more money. I don't think you're broke. I don't believe that.
No, we're not broke.
No, you're not broke.
We have a lot of money. We have a lot of money. but
of
we
course
just
there's money there to be spent. You know, with this new Nike deal as well. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Just all Liverpool fans just buy one extra shirt each. However many you
exactly.
buy, just buy 2 shirts, and then your club's got all that extra, like another 20-30 million pound, and you can then afford Bowen from West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds hypothetical, but anything, and if we even put a little bit of money, even if we put a little bit of money, we don't know where it'll go. It might go into the back pockets of FSG. We just don't know what
A lot of
they're
people
doing.
are saying, you know, Man United spent big money on Lukaku and Pogba, and that didn't work. That isn't what I'm talking about. Like, you're really twisting what's being said here. I'm speaking about whether you think you're going to buy anyone or no one. If Liverpool, on a real level, I can banter it online. But if Liverpool think Bowen and Rafinha and John McGinn, if Klopp and FSG and their Moneyball technique think that those players can make them champions of England again, I can disagree with it, but let's see what happens. But what this report says is they're buying no one. If you buy no one, you're not winning the league, in my opinion. You'll still make top 4. If you were to sign those 3 or 4 players I've mentioned, along with Konate, of course, being part of it, then I think I would look at it and say, you've got a proven track record of this winning at Liverpool. Will you be at your very best year 1 with those new players? Maybe not. But let's see what happens with it. Indeed, it's a Ram. It's great having you back on, mate. Speak to you again soon, buddy. Take care. Thank you very much indeed. Super Chat here says there are no cheap players as far as English clubs are concerned. All other clubs charge a premium to sell to English clubs. This is very, very true indeed. Never a truer word spoken. Never a truer word spoken there. Ziad on the show now. Ziad, welcome back to the terrace, mate. What are you saying?
Afternoon, Terry. Yeah, just a few on Lukaku and Liverpool. First of all, the Liverpool. I don't believe it one bit. I don't think Liverpool FSG will allow teams like their rivals in City, Chelsea, United to boost their squad and get closer to that league title, get closer to the Champions League, while they pretty much fall behind. And if that is the case, if United really, if Liverpool really end up signing no one, it really asks questions. Where the mentality of FSG? Where do they want to take this club? If you're not willing to compete and spend money when your rivals are, when are you going to? Because when you see a club like Man City and Chelsea, no matter what happens when during the season, they're always going to look to build the following summer. So if they're building and building every summer, and you're not willing to to compete in the transfer market, you're not going to compete in the season. So that's why I feel is worrying for Liverpool fans, because it's what FSG trying to do? Where's the ambition? There's no ambition. And for a big club, that's worrying. And for Lukaku, right now, yeah, it seems like it's completely dead. But I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident to say if we were to flop on Haaland, if we were to put a bid in for Lukaku, I'm pretty confident Lukaku would accept to join. Yeah, Inter Milan may be difficult, but if we do put that 80, 90, 100 million bid in, I find it hard for Inter Milan to turn it down. And for Lukaku, from his perspective, where is it at Inter Milan right now? They've just won the league. They're really going to win the Champions League. Well, like, what is there to really go off now? Your favorite manager has just left. Why not come back to a club that you've always loved? Come back to the Premier League, where the best league in the world. You're proven there. Try win the Champions League. Try win the Premier League, and push yourself, because he's in, like, I would say, around his prime now. Why not come back to the Premier League and push yourself instead of staying at Inter Milan, where you already won what you need to win there and what you're expected to win? Yeah, so why not come to the Premier League and push yourself? So if we were to put a bid in for Lukaku, on the personal terms, I think it will be okay. But we just need to maybe, same with Haaland, put a big money and we'll get them. It's the same story all summer, really.
Mate, great call. And I think in the reports today that it's not happening. I'm gonna speak to Dean Jones and Pete over the course of the week about what they think on this, and then we'll go from there. Buddy, thank you very much for coming on and having your say. Thank you, Ziad. Appreciate that. And all my days, Tonks Cole with the biggest individual super chat in the history of the football. I am humbled by this. A $500 super chat. He says this should be a super chat record. Man of my word. Great Varane signing. Big up to Terry and the football terrace. Well, Tonks, we are creating in our brand new studio, Unit 7, a members and fan wall. And there's a couple of members and fans that are already going to be on there. I haven't announced who they're going to be yet. But Tonks Cole, your name, your picture if you want to send a picture in, or an emoji if you want to send an emoji in, or an avatar. You're going up on the wall for that, my friend. An absolutely humbling and super chat from yourself. Thank you very, very much indeed for sending that into the terrace. I know you said you would do it. You didn't need to do it, but we appreciate it massively. We really, really do. So thank you very, very much, sir, for sending that into us. You are going on to the Wall of Fame and the Members Wall of Fame. I will announce now some of the others that are going up there. They don't know they're going up there yet, but they will be. First and foremost, yourself, Tonks, will be there. He's not around as much anymore, but Zayn has to be up on the wall for what he gave to the channel over years gone by. As well as that, we're going to be putting Monsieur Ahmed up onto that wall as well. He didn't know that was coming either. And there are 3 or 4 more that are going to be the first inductees to go onto the Football Terrace Hall of Fame. Our Hall of Fame isn't about presenters, YouTubers, footballers. Our Hall of Fame isn't about any of those things. It's about our viewers, our contributors to the Football Terrace. There are many, many more as well that are going to go up on there. I've just got to kind of go through the sort of the listings on that. But we're going to be rewarding long-term members. We're going to be rewarding long-term subscribers. We're going to be rewarding long-term and large super chatters as well. There's many, many more to go on there. The wall's huge, and you're all going to have your name up in lights. Homage going to be paid to you. And maybe some suggestions from you all who you think should go up there. Maria Williams, definitely a shout. Mohammed, definitely a shout. Nick, definitely a shout. Nick, lots of super chats come in from him. And there are probably many off the top of my... I'm just trying to think more off the top of my head. Someone says, what about Safe? Maybe not Safe, to be fair, because he'll want to come and have a go on that. But thank you very, very much indeed for doing that, my friend. It means a great deal to me. Many, many more names to go up onto the Hall of Fame list as well. Loads. So I made a list of them here, actually. I'm going to go and grab... Let me just find the list because I've written up. My memory's awful, so I never remember anything unless I look things up. Leng and Sweet was another... Leng and Sweet was another one that we're going to have on there. Monsieur Ahmed, as I mentioned already. There's Nick, whose Nick's name I forget. I forget Nick's name. I forget his surname, and I shouldn't. I'm just looking for the list here. That's it. Nick. Mark. So it's not Nick. I'm a liar. Mark Neighbor. I thought it was Nick. Mark Neighbor is the name. They're all going on to the Wall of Fame first. There are a few others. We're gonna do a little bit of a review as well. We're going to go back over the last 6 months and make sure that we're not missing out any of the big people. Some people are not even super chatting anymore, but it doesn't matter if it's super chats in a while. It's about looking at the last 4 or 5 years. It's just a lot of data that we've got to collate and go back through. And we're going to start growing the Hall of Fame. All legends and super fan members will be going up on the wall as well. We want to create a fan wall. And what we're doing in one part of the studio is going to have a signature wall. So for all of our guests that come onto the show, all the people that are going to be in the audience, you get to go and sign it and put your name on there that you've been here and stuff. We just want to try and make you feel as included with the Football Terrace as possible. So a massive thank you to each and every one of you. Eye test. Listen, I think eye test should definitely be, I'm going to make a note of eye test now. I think that's definitely one that can go onto that list. We might even do a bit of a ranking session on the terrace and actually let the audience vote for who should be on there as well. We'll have some fun with it. But listen, everyone who has tuned in today, thank you very, very much indeed. I really do appreciate the super chats that have come in. Tonks Cole, yeah, I just can't, I can't thank you enough. I'm almost speechless, to be honest with you. But thank you very, very much indeed. I know there's still a lot of people waiting backstage. We're back at 9 p.m. We're back at 9 p.m. with the panel, everybody in tow, ready to get ready to move things forward. A big thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Please smash that like button. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again